Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I'm the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is adjacent to life. I am making this video for any of you out there like me that are what I would call a service-themed soul. If you are a giver, if you are like me, an overgiver, if you tend to be so completely outward focused. I've said many times in my life, and it remains true, I'm so outward focused that I often don't even consider the fact that I have a face, that I am a person, that I have a body, that I have an expression, that people remember me, or that people know me, or that I don't have a lot of awareness of like, oh, I'm an entity, and I don't know. I just am like this cup to pour forth. And any of you that are service themed, service oriented, outward focused, overgiving, generous giver, may find that you are living adjacent to life. And why do I say that? And it's because my life is lived so that it may serve others. The function of my life is to serve the will of divinity. I believe the will of divinity is joy. I do believe I receive tremendous joy if I feel Heather Feather has been able to be a balm, a medicine, and a calm, a service, an aid in any way to any being. It's my favorite. Actually, I learned when I was in California that my favorite job in any job is whatever job they can give me that will serve the most people to make them the most happy. Like in most jobs, I'm the person that cleans the kitchen, or I will take on janitorial duties even if they have a janitor, just because I want everybody to have the best experience. It is part of being an INFJ. We tend to want to serve in this way. But yeah, so my life revolves around serving others. And because I'm extremely empathetic, it's come up in a ton of my Akashic Records readings. The veil is very thin for me. This one has very, very developed empathy. When others around me are happy, I'm happy because I'm feeling your vibe so intensely. So it's not that I get nothing out of that. It's a beautiful simpatico relationship where all entities are served, because if you're thriving and feeling good, I'm thriving and feeling good because I'm usually vibing at whatever's around me. And because of that, I spend a tremendous amount of time alone. I have designed my life. I now work 3 jobs. I have a new full-time job that I'm deeply grateful for and humbled for many reasons to have received. And I'm grateful to do work for. Amazing company called Love is Healing, LLC. You can look them up on... Actually, there's a channel on YouTube for Love is Healing for Magnolia to offer her great wisdom with you. But she has her own business, Love is Healing, LLC. And if you're in Albuquerque or anywhere, they can even do telehealth calls. Amazing trauma-informed psychotherapy practices that are connected. Even the Akashic Record says psychology and psychotherapy is often missing the spiritual component. And this is connected to shamanic practices, Reiki practices, spiritual practices. And that really gives the individual comprehensive treatment. I'm well blessed to have that job and to serve that entity. And then I work for Rare Bird Medicine. I consider Rare Bird Medicine 2 jobs because it is. One is online classes that I teach, and I typically write every week of my life throughout the year. For 52 years, I'm writing classes. I'm organizing data. Some of it is what my tremendous teacher, Lightwalker, gave me. Some of it is what Heather's inputting. So I'm writing classes, and then I am taking clients. Just finished with a client today, so I take clients on the weekend. So mostly Heather works. And I work these 3 jobs of individual clients for shamanic healing and kundalini healings, and online spiritual classes for spiritual community, and my day job, full-time job, serving community still. Because those are all ways I can serve, I can give, I can offer, I can share, I can pour forth from my cup. I've had to overcome a lot of things in order to do those things, because I'm actually a deeply shy individual. It's not, you could say that, as an INFJ, it would seem that way. Most 2-leggeds do not correctly perceive my frequency because I do not seem shy at all. I seem really social. But I'm deeply shy and learning here in my 40s, tremendously anxious individual. So everyone wants to be so cool and calm. No, that's not me. That's not my vibe, because I'm constantly in this nervous state of like, am I serving? Am I giving? Am I being divine love? Was that the most loving thing I could have done? Like, I have very high standards for Heather. And so my life often revolves around serving these entities that I'm serving and serving people and because so much of the work that I do is service driven, it is friendly. What I do is very friendly. I'm very generous, listening devotedly, attentively, in multiple realms to every individual I work with. It requires a tremendous amount of presence. A lot of my personal life, I remain adjacent to. My friendships, my familial life, the concept of Heather having a life, that is over here. Because Heather's over here, I'm not just making weekly classes, I'm envisioning a brick and mortar college at all times and all the steps involved with that and following the steps of running a nonprofit. So this isn't about Heather's task list or your task list. It's about how much of your outward energy is being used on a daily basis, just adjacent of your life. It's, Rare Bird Medicine is an entity that was handed to me that I'm stewarding, right? And my full-time jobs, whatever they are in any given moment now, is someone else's vision and an entity that I'm aiding to steward. But then there's a thing called Heather's life, Heather Feather, the woman, the human, this person, which is called her life. Like, hey, sister, are you having fun? How's your fun going? And how's your connection going? How's your connectivity to humanity going? And it's really easy for me as an extremely introverted human that feels sometimes overtaxed in the amount of devotional attention and energy that is used by me 7 days a week to serve all those things I just described. It is because all those things require social interaction, and I'm an introvert. I'm an INFJ. I'm introverted, and I need alone time. I need sensory deprivation tank to kind of recalibrate my frequency. So I just kind of compartmentalize, like Heather's life, like I'll deal with that. That we'll just put that, I'll just be adjacent. I'm going to serve these things, these visions that I've been handed and the ones that I serve and whatever divinity brings in, and I'm going to serve that. And then I serve people. When I'm able, when I have free time, if I've given my cup any level of refilling by having some alone time or shutting my eyes, then I'm serving my friends and my family. And so again, they are part of my life, but what about my life? Like my life, like what is my highest joy? I love flying kites. I love comedians. I love comedy. I love being in nature. I'm just recognizing like how much I'm not being a participant in the quality of my life. It's not that I don't live a quality life. I live a life of great service. I live a life of a lot of discipline. Heather follows a lot of discipline and is very healthy at 47 because I get up every morning and I do Qigong or yoga and I do 100 sit-ups. I have a PM bedtime routine to shut the system down and not be on technology. These are all things I'm constantly folding into and folding away from and folding back in because I have a drive to serve the entities and the people that I love that I serve. And I'm finding that my life is often being lived for others. My life revolves around being lived for others. How can I serve you? How can I help you? I am that way on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual level. How can I serve you? How can I serve you? Here's a good question when you are that way. How can I serve myself? A lot of two-leggeds could do with some more outward focus. They could do with some more thinking of othersness. They could do with some more like, how would I feel if this was said to me before it comes out of my mouthness? But that's the frequency I'm constantly operating in, even though I don't always get an A+ on that because I'm in multiple realms and it sometimes takes me a minute to calibrate to Earth School to have a conversation with a human. But if you are somebody that's constantly outward focused, life is about balance, finding balance. Where's the balance in my life? And I'm noticing when it comes to the scales of balance, will my soul equal the weight of an ostrich feather when I meet Ma'at at the end? I don't know. I'm not being very balanced about sacred selfishness. Many two-leggeds, it would serve them to be more selfless. They could serve to volunteer. Definitely helps depression. Many could serve themselves, the world, their lives by being outward focused or too inward focused. Depression is a version of too much inward focus. I've struggled with it too. But there's a need in order for me to come into balance to stop being adjacent to my life, the human person, the entity Heather, So there's a check-in. There's a check-in I had with the client I was working with today on a Kundalini healing, in which I was saying, like, what brings you joy, you know? And I was getting a lot of, the client I had today, we were both very insular, introverted individuals. But it was like, you know, what brings you joy? Would it bring you joy to bring the bowling alley to your house and get a little bowling kit and set it up in your hallway and bowl instead of be on the TV? Would it bring you joy to fly a kite in nature by yourself so that you get time on the earth and time with the sun and time with the winds and the joy and exercise of flying a kite, you know, that you can get them at the dollar store? Like, what is it? Is it a Frisbee with a friend? Like, what is it that brings you joy? And then how much have you folded that into your life? Are you just kind of going through your life, going through the motions? It's not lost on me, the banality of what life can feel like in the living tree. It sometimes can seem very redundant, very banal, also very problematic. And it's like, can I just have a minute to have a good time? And there can be all kinds of ways we can associate fun, like fun is being drunk or fun is being on drugs, or, you know, and it's like, is that fun? What if I quit doing those things? What would fun be then? What is fun? You know, comedians are hilarious. I find them to be very fun. They often cause me to laugh. And so Heather's seen every comedian you can think of 5 to 10 times on the TV because I'm trying to laugh. But I've also been the type of human that I laugh at dad jokes. I didn't decide to be like a bitter old codger anytime someone tells a joke. I'm like, jokes, everybody, because I want to enjoy my life. I want to be in the state of joy in experiencing my life. And in order to do that, I need to be a participant in it. And it can be a participant of comedy. The content in becomes character out. What we take in, we become. And I want to be a sacred clown for humanity. I want to light your heart up with joy. So I make sure I fill my vessel with plenty of it, that I be full of clown-like goofy energy, and we can trust this silly lady is knocking that one out of the park. And what else do I want to bring in to the content of my life so that it feels like my life is being lived for me? Some of the things I've had to do in the past year in order for my life to be lived for me is to let friends and family know my response time is about 1 week to 2 months. If I don't get back to you, then it means I forgot. Please reach out again. And I've had to let my friends and my family know that because I'm not giving birth to a child, but I'm giving birth to a college. Not a class, a college. So it requires an overwhelming amount of attention from me for years. And for me to not have that take decades, I need to give devoted attention to it. But because it requires so much devoted attention, a great question for Heather is, are you just tuning out and just kind of being just like going through the motions? And yes, the answer is yes, everybody. The answer is yes. At the end of that day with my day job, where I then switch to Rare Bird Medicine and do my Rare Bird Medicine job, then I kick on the boob tube, or as I like to call it, idiot box, so remember what we're doing, or the phone, idiot box, so I remember what I'm doing, and I can doom scroll, or just, it's not really doom watching because I watch comedy, so that's good content in, and I'm not necessarily enjoying my life. I'm the one making it banal, right? We have to take responsibility, which is the ability to respond. And I am able to respond to my life, and I'm able to respond to it by being on this device and I'm just plugging in and being like, here, 1%, commodify my brain, no problem. And I'm also able to unplug and be like, let me do some bowling in my house, or, let me get a pet mouse. No, can't do that. I have 2 cats. But what is something that would be fun, that I would enjoy, that I could do this day, that would take the doldrums away, rather than me being this automaton that is kind of going through the motions and mostly using my energy for outward focus. How can I be more sacred selfish this day? Those that are service-oriented beings, those that are outward-focused empath givers, those that are INFJs, a good question for yourself is, what sacred selfish practice am I going to have this day? Sometimes that's video games for Heather. Sometimes that's flying a kite. Sometimes it's me completely forgetting at all that I need to make sure that Heather is a participant and not living adjacent to life. We have Egyptian shamanism and Hawaiian shamanism. We're going to cover mudras, Egyptian gardens. We're going to cover journeying with the Egyptian gods and goddesses. That's all coming up in August. And in October, we have Hawaiian shamanism. Go to rarebirdmedicine.com, click on the classes link, and you can always subscribe on YouTube. Amun.